Good morning. I want to bring the April 16th Planning Advisory Commission meeting to the order. Official start of this meeting is 9 a.m. Would you please rise for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please turn off or silence your cell phones. I remind those in the audience and those watching on TV that this is the first hearing of any rezoning, text change, or special exception request brought before us today. We will first hear a reading from the staff report for the case by planning staff and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request or to inquire about said request. The commissioners will have all needed discussion time for the case. Once a motion is made and seconded by the commission, a vote will take place and a recommendation will be rendered. The case will then go back to Planning Department for their independent recommendation. If a favorable recommendation is given, then the case is forwarded to the City Council with 2 independent recommendations. If the Planning Department makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant will have 10 days from the receipt of a letter stating the denial to notify the Clerk of Council that they are requesting to be placed on the City Council's agenda. The City Council of Columbus will hold a public meeting, the first reading. Said council shall consider the case, review Planning Commission and Planning Department recommendations, and hear discussion on the matter. Council will make a final decision at a second public meeting, the second reading. Our first agenda item for the day is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Anyone have any comments or corrections regarding the minutes? All right, would the commissioner like to make a motion to approve the? Thank you. Second. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, that brings us to our first case today, and commissioners, we're going to start with the second one on your agenda. This is exception 425-0605, a request for a special exception use for 7.36 acres of land located at 6655 Lynch Road. I'm reading the wrong one.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, sorry. Okay, all right. Thank you. Current zoning is residential estate 1, RE1. The proposed use is to allow a club or a lodge not for profit in RE1 zoning district. Columbus Firefighters Association is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 6, Allen. Can we please hear from staff?
Good morning. The property at 6655 Lynch Road is zoned RE1. It is 7.76 acres, I believe, 7.36, my apologies. The Columbus Firefighters Association already has an existing building on that property, and this request is to add a storage building for memorabilia behind the existing structure. It'll be over 200 feet from the street. It won't be visible, and it won't detract from what exists on that street. They just have to go through this process because the existing building is grandfathered in. Any storage building would not be. So now that they have this special exception, they're going to be in compliance.
Okay. And is there someone here to speak on behalf of this? Yes, sir. Will you please come to the podium and state your name and address?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bryce Patterson. I'm the treasurer of the Columbus Firefighter Association. This is a building that at 6655 Furnace Road that we'd like to add. We have a couple old fire trucks. They're a 34 purse. It was part of the fire department, and we don't have storage for them. And we use them for parades and displays and so forth. And so we also have a lot of memorabilia that we don't have a place to put, and we would like to put it in that building itself. I got a couple of pictures here if anybody would like to look at them. There's a sample of what the building looks like. It's 30 by 65 with 2 bays on it, and it's just going to be placed close to where we are now, but will allow us to put some of that memorabilia in there and also be able to house those old trucks.
Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this request? Anyone in the audience like to speak against this request? Okay, commissioners, would Commissioner like to make a motion? Yes, sir.
I'll be happy to, sir.
Turn your microphone.
I'll be happy to, Mr. Chairman. In case of EXCP 04250605, request for special exception use for 7.36 acres of land located at 6655 Lynch Road for the Columbus Firefighters Association. I make a motion that we approve this.
And a second? Thank you, sir. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, that brings us to our second case, which is REZN 03-25-0489, a request to rezone 2.21 acres of land located at 4389 Weems Road. Current zoning is single-family residential 2, SFR2 zoning district. Proposed zoning is residential multifamily 1, RMF1 zoning district. The proposed use is multifamily residential. P&B Holdings LLC is the applicant. Property is located in Council District 6, Allen. Can we please hear the staff report?
This 2.21 acre property is currently zoned SFR2, which is the similar zoning in the north, south, and east, with SFR1 to the west. They are requesting to go from SFR2 to RMF1 to build 24 townhomes. And you have the plans for that in your staff report, and I have them here if you need to see them larger as well. This is inconsistent with the area and is inconsistent with the future land use plan. There were 37 property owners who were notified. I received, your staff report says 3, but I have 5 now in opposition of this. And I believe they are here today, with the exception of 1.
All right, is the applicant here, and could the applicant come forward and speak on behalf of what you're planning? Good morning.
Morning.
Will y'all state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, I'm Perry Pate. My address at office is 4676 Milton Road,
Thanks, sir.
Columbus.
Okay.
Andrew Buckman, I live on 5099 Greenwoods Lane.
Okay, thank y'all. Tell us what you're planning.
We're trying to get just some houses in that area. I know everything we got around that area is full, and I've got apartments. They're all 100% full. And so what we're trying to do here is put some townhouses in there, which are a little bit softer than apartments. They're actually considered single-family homes with a parting wall that they share. They got a front yard, backyard. And it just seems like something that what Moon and Meeks is designed, I think y'all have in front of you. And they drew a pretty good conception plan, and I think with what we're doing there, the rents, the size of them, and all that will be around the same thing that's going on in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I
Anything else?
manage rental properties in that area, and we're full, always full. And same price that we would be renting those rental properties is the same price we'd be renting these, which would be brand new. It is something that gets requested a lot. If you look at real estate in the United States nowadays, I mean, this was on the news just last week, the average house has become so high because of interest rates and the inflation of real estate that there's a situation where people even 35 years old cannot afford their first home. So there's more rental than anything else headed in the United States at this time. That being the case, when you have 35-year-olds, they don't necessarily want to live in elevated apartments. Townhouses, which when I first got out of college and started working, was the only option for me. And I lived in a townhouse, then moved into an apartment after saving money from working. Well, that's the direction that the United States is headed. And we need that here in Columbus. I get a request for it constantly. That's why we decided to try this.
Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, how are you doing? Okay, you said you build many apartments, but these are gonna be townhouses.
Right.
Okay, are they gonna be gated?
We will have a fence around the whole perimeter. If somebody needs us to do that, we will probably do that. Whatever, we're trying to just do anything that will be, good for the neighborhood.
Okay, and you said the rent would be affordable?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What kind of rent are you looking at? How many square feet per unit?
We're, between 1,300, 1,400 square feet. That's about the minimum average for that area. And rent's anywhere from $1,100 to $1,500, depending.
The houses I rent in that area, one was 1,320, the other one is 1,031, and they both were renting at $1,500 per month.
Anyone else?
We do have buffers. I think y'all have seen the plan where we'll have trees. We've got a little kiosk in there, so if the mailman comes in, he'll be on the right-hand side, kind of in the common area, if you will, and just kind of keeping the flow of traffic on Weems Road.
Your parking, is it going to be garaged or you just have two spaces
Two
per
spaces
unit?
per unit, with some spare on the common side.
My question, for home 4403, talking about buffers, and I'm looking at parking spots right up next to their property. What's going to be the buffer between their home property and those parking spaces?
The parking space side, there'll be 8 foot to the property line from the end of the parking. The parking will be 20, then you got 30, then you got another 20, and then you got the 20 to the units. On the back side, on the left side, there's 16 feet on that property side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many are we talking about?
24,
24 units?
yes, ma'am. And there'll be like 6 in a 20-foot space, 6, a 20-foot space, and 6.
Okay, so there's no upstairs, these are all
No,
single level?
all single up. Well, they'll have upstairs, but there won't be anybody living above them. That'll be their unit. It'll be like a kitchen, living room, dining room, half bath, set of steps, 2 bedrooms and 2 baths upstairs,
Okay.
with a
it would
back porch on each of them.
It would be upstairs. And how many baths? 2?
2.5.
2.5? Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We're going to ask the audience
Thank
too.
you.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this request? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak against this request? Would y'all come to the podium and give us your name and address, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Edward Lunsford, 4403 Weems Road. We're worried about traffic, property values, runoff water, and that's pretty much what I've got. We need to know how it's going to affect all of this. Runoff water is going to go right straight back into a lake behind the place. We just want to make sure that everything is taken. I'm against it. It should be 2 houses built there just like the rest of the neighborhood. There's no multi-family housing on Weems Road from one end to the other. We don't believe it should be. And that's really what I have to say. Thank you.
Sir, do you, at your house right now, do you have any drainage, I mean, do you have drainage issues from what is already there? Anything like that right now?
It's wooded. It's all
Yeah.
wooded. There's
Yeah.
no drainage problem at all right now. But when they clear it, there's going to be a problem.
Okay, gotcha.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
sir. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Mary McBride, 4403 Weems Road. That's my uncle. My husband and I were actually able to purchase the property a couple years ago. So I'm very against the statement that people who are 35 don't buy their own homes. I am concerned about the drainage. Obviously, I am concerned about the traffic. I was actually rear-ended getting into my house Monday. Traffic on that street is an issue, and the city has been working to alleviate that already. I am worried about privacy, obviously, and I'm also worried about the long-term value of a property I owe money on regardless of what it's worth. Those are my main concerns. I'm very against.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a question for you real quick.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
okay. How are you doing? Okay, so right now you're saying that the privacy part, are you going to be near this area where they're talking about building these apartments? Or your home is near there?
I actually haven't gotten to see exactly the design of what they're planning to do. If you're facing my house, my driveway is on the right-hand side of my property, with the left hand being where they're building this. There is already issues with blockages because of the school during, check-in and check-out. They did put a U into the school, which has helped, but, it's still kind of an issue. And with 24 more houses, you've pretty much got at least 24 more cars, if not 48 plus guests and everything else, how this is going to affect it. Also, the front of this property that faces the street is not very wide at all, so I'm generally worried about that.
So you're talking about traffic jam as well?
Yes, yes,
You said there's a school there, and
yes, I forgot the name.
Oh.
Campus Academy, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Mike Rich. I live at 6321 Jane Lane. I have a 3.5 acre tract of land, and I'm directly behind the Campus Academy, and this piece of property, half of it borders my property. So I have a pond on my property. It's part of 4 ponds in that area in the Cooper Creek watershed. My concern is several things, with the exception that they're going to is the 24 townhomes. The setback, I believe, in the zoning that I read, it should be 30 foot from the back of the house. They're requesting 16 foot. In order to build this and develop this how they presented it, they would have to go in there and clear every single tree off of this property, which matter maybe not the last few feet toward the bottom. A good portion, or 6 of these townhomes, the last unit would sit directly behind my dam, 16 foot off of my dam. If you go in there and you clear all this vegetation and allow for the parking, the runoff from the roofs, the runoffs from the parking, it's going to create a problem of flooding on Jane Lane, because my pond feeds a smaller pond onto Jane Lane. Their retention pond, if they build a deep retention pond, you're going to interrupt the natural flow of water of the 3 ponds. And then when you have big rains like we've had here lately in the past, you're going to have flooding on Jane Lane because there's a pond on either side. The idea of waking up in the morning and looking at the backside of 24 units is not appealing to me. My problem with the neighbors that I have today are the deer wants to get in my garden. I've got hoot owls that like to carry on at night. And then I have to deal with a heron that likes to eat too much fish out of my pond. So I don't want to deal with neighbors as far as 24 units that, could possibly go to Section 8. It does not fit the development of the neighborhood. And my wife and I spent several hours the last week or two canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on doors. We got a petition up to oppose this, and we have 70 signatures in and around this area: Morningside, Weems, Rich Haven, Jane Lane, Cricket, Chimney Loop. And not one door that we knocked on that the people came to refused to sign our petition. So we adamantly oppose this. I do not oppose someone developing something within the existing zoning, 4 to 6 homes, but I think they should be kept on the higher end of the property, not behind the dam, which would cause, issues. If my dam breaks, I've got people lined up wanting to sue me. So just, if y'all wanted to have a copy of the petition.
Yeah, would you mind passing that around to us? That'd be great.
Sure.
Commissioners, any questions for the gentleman? Yes, ma'am.
question for the builders.
Sure.
Well, can I ask
Yeah,
this
let's-
gentleman a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and then we're going to get the bill back. Have you had an opportunity to talk to these gentlemen prior to this meeting?
No, sir, I haven't.
Has anyone else?
Any other questions for this gentleman? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll get this back to you, too. If y'all can come back, applicants, if y'all can come back up, Mr. Pate, Mr. Buckman. First, we want to give y'all an opportunity, if there's anything that you want to respond to and give information on, you're welcome to do that.
With the Moon Meeks, they told us that with our present, we could build 8 houses in there. Just so people know. That's
At the present zone,
Right.
you could build 8.
At the present
Okay,
zone.
gotcha. Anything else that y'all wanted to respond? Did someone mention the possibility of Section 8? Is that anything y'all are planning on? Okay.
I've had a house burnt down by Section 8, and I've had one destroyed in a month by Section 8, so I will not be renting to Section
Okay, thank you.
Now, if you did ultimately build, what, 8 houses?
8.
In there, you would have to clear the property also and build a retention pond as well,
8.
correct?
Absolutely.
You would have to do the detention pond for sure.
I have a question. So as far as their privacy is concerned, are you able to take any measures to address the situation?
I think we will entertain anything. Our last one I did that I took before council was back in 2010, and me and Gary Allen met with the people in the neighborhood, and we kind of made exceptions. We left trees, we did this to try to make it look more to go along with what you got going there, and y'all have one. So, I mean, to just say we're gonna go in there and, we're not gonna do that until we talk and plan and try to make it conducive for the neighborhood.
Well, I do know when the Campus Academy came in to apply, were you here? Okay. Did they do everything they were supposed to do?
I have a question for staff. Does the city get involved any looking at the effect on private dams, things of that nature?
We can't look at private dams. There will be a engineered stormwater plan that's required, and that will be looked at thoroughly for that property.
Does that stormwater plan take into account just the city drains, or does it also take into account the
It
topography
accounts
of?
how much water came down before anything was built and how much water would come down after the entire development was built,
Gotcha.
the pre and post development.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, do you have a diagram of the apartments that you have built, that you're building, that's gonna look like the one that you have built already? Is it gonna be something different altogether? Or they're gonna be some of the ones you've already have built in the past?
I've got 3 buildings that are Milestone, Legends in Armor, and the Trails on Milton Road, but they're all apartments. But I can give you all a picture of what I've got on Armor Avenue, where we try to have trees and blah, 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 and to make it look very, very homely. Moon and Meeks will be designing this for us if we do it, and they make sure they don't cut any corners. They do a very good job as far as engineers.
Okay, will there be a privacy fence behind them? I
Yes.
mean, so there will be privacy for the people that's there already and for the
Yes.
people that's living there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay. Would a commissioner like to make a motion?
Well, commissioners, you know, a lot of times we make decisions. I feel like there needs to be more communication between the builders and these residents, number one. So sometimes we can table cases and give them an opportunity to present to these neighbors and, you know, look at what the options are, alternatives are to go further, and then we don't actually stop his case. just for information. Or we can elect to make a motion and vote on it today. But I feel like there's some information that's missing here.
Correct, I think we need a
And
little more
there's
time.
questions by these residents, which I fully understand, and I sympathize and empathize with them. But they're fulfilling a need that Columbus has right now, which is housing. And we all know there's a shortage, and anybody in real estate or anybody that's involved in that knows that affordable housing is hard, or attainable housing is the new buzzword, is not available here in Columbus like it should be. So we're kind of at a crossroads. So anyway, that's something we need to really consider, because kids that are in their 30s that are having a hard time, they can't afford a $2,500 house payment right now, raising kids and so forth. So, like I say, I'm at a crossroads with it.
That is true, there are young people that can't afford it, but at the detriment of this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I can put forward a motion, we can vote on it, or we can just table it, but I'm not sure if that motion's gonna go across the board.
I think my motion would be that this be tabled. We have a petition of 70, is that correct? 70 names from neighbors who own property, live in that neighborhood. And we want you all to have the opportunity to work together, because what would be great would be to come here and it be cut and dry, that the community has had an opportunity. It can't always work that it's clear and cut and dry and that everybody's on the same page, but some kind of a community meeting, maybe with the counselor involved, would probably be the best thing in this case. So all of those in favor of tabling this, in favor of you all meeting, maybe with planning staff and the city councilor, to come together on a plan, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, thank you.
And this gives you guys an opportunity, the builders, an opportunity to address some of these concerns ahead of time. And your case is not stopped.
Right.
You don't have to pay new fees and all that to come back, but this would give you an opportunity maybe to come back to the next meeting. But I just feel like more communication between the builders and developers and the residents is important. So that's what I think.
Thank you all. Any other business for today? Okay.
Our next meeting will not be till May 21st that we have scheduled.
Okay, thank you. Would a commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor? And we are adjourned.